Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, it's another reading vlog. I'm starting off. Y'all seen in my last vlog that I finished reading. It all started with Goodbye by Christine June, which I really thoroughly enjoyed and gave it 4 stars on my Goodreads. And this week I'm starting out with Collen Hoover's Hopeless. I am filming this on a Friday. I'm going to include the weekends through my vlog because I'm probably not going to update you again until Monday, but because this weekend is my husband's sister's birthday, so we're going to be spending the weekend at her house celebrating her birthday. But I am going to bring this book along with me, so anytime I get a chance I can read. But I am starting out with Collen Hoover's Hopeless. Y'all have to let me know if you've read this book and what you think. After I finish reading this one, of course I'm going to put the sequel I have on hold, but I think I already have it on hold. I'm still waiting for it to become available. For some reason in my library, the Collen Hoover books, they have an extremely long line of holds. So it's taken me a while to get to all the Collen Hoover books, but this is the next one I wanted to read on my TBR. And the next time I see you, I'll probably update you on I'll be updating you on my rating and what I thought of the book and just giving you a little bit of thoughts on it. I'm sure I'm gonna like it. So far on Goodreads, I've given all of the Collen Hoover books, I think, 5 stars because I thoroughly enjoy her writing. Her writing is just, I don't know, it's so fast paced. It's truly, I get sucked into her books and I cannot stop reading them until I've finished. I only stop when I'm forcibly when I have to stop to do cleaning, cooking, motherly duties. But yeah, I'm excited to be starting this now on the reading vlog, and y'all probably see me on Monday giving an update of what I think of this. See you then. Hi guys, so I'm here for my book update. So I started reading this Saturday, that morning before we went to my sister-in-law's house for the weekend for her birthday party. It's now Wednesday, so sorry, there's like something in my eye. So it's now Wednesday that I'm giving you this update, which is kind of ironic because I think it was also a Wednesday in my last video when I gave you a book update. So I don't think there's gonna be as many books that I've read in this video as there was in my last one, just because, well, I'll talk about it after this book. But so I did read this on Saturday and it was so good. I started Saturday morning, like I said before, I went to my sister-in-law's house for her party, and then there was like so many people at that party. And I get I guess social anxiety, I guess you could say it is. I don't like big crowds of people. It just makes me nervous. So I end up reading most of the time. Once a whole bunch of people showed up, I was reading pretty much the whole time during the party, except for when it came time to eat and the blowing out of the candles. But I did end up staying up until almost, or it might have been 2 a.m. that Saturday, just to so I guess it was Saturday/Sunday, just to finish reading this book. So good. It's definitely another 5-star read for me from Collen Hoover. So pretty much it's about this girl, Sky. She's been homeschooled her whole life, and she begs her mom to let her go to school for her senior year so she can have somewhat of a normal, she wants to know what that normal life is like at a school, you know. So she begs her mom to please, and finally when her mom agrees to let her go to school, her best friend that she was hoping she would have there at the school year, who lives next door to her, they've been best friends their whole life, pretty much sneaking into each other's houses late at night, watching movies and stuff. She ends up leaving for some foreign exchange thing for 6 months, I think it is. And it's something she had been wanting to do, and she finds out about it after her mom okays her to go to school. And she says that she doesn't want to go back on that. She's going to go ahead and still go to school, not say that she wants to be homeschooled because her friend's not going to be at school. So she meets this guy, Dean Holder, when she's at a grocery store. She's checking out, and the girl that's checking her out goes to the high school that she's going to be going to. She gets distracted because he's at the checkout, the next checkout over with something, and apparently all the girls just think he's just so hot. So she gets distracted by him, and that's when she sees him, and he keeps on looking at her. And when she's taking her groceries to her car in the parking lot, he follows her. And he asks her, "Do I know you?" Because he says, "You look so familiar." And she's like, "No, I don't think so." And I think he calls her Hope. And she says, "No, my name's Sky." And she even shows him her driver's license to prove that that's her name. And apparently he takes note when he's looking at the driver's license of her address and everything. And she lives only a couple miles away from him, supposedly. So when she goes to school, her first day of school, she's thinking about, because she runs. She started running like a few years ago, and she was thinking about trying out for the track team. And she's sitting at the tracks because she got to her school 45 minutes before school actually started. And she's sitting at the tracks, and there's this guy running around the tracks. Turns out it was Dean Holder. And pretty much he just keeps on showing up. And they just end up talking when she's running one day, and she ends up running longer than she anticipates. She's already ran out of water, and she just mysteriously is leaning over his mailbox. She ends up running to his house, and she didn't even know it until he comes out of the house. I think he comes out of the house and sees her there. Offers to refill her water for her, and then he offers to run with her back to her house and everything. And that's where their whole relationship pretty much starts. And it's just so good. I do say that there's talks of sexual assault in this book. So if that's like a tender subject for you, that's something to consider. But there's something about these Collen Hoover books. There's always some type of twist, you know. This book also has a twist. It turns out she isn't who she thinks she is. And there's been a lot of things from her childhood that she's kind of blocked out of her mind, and Dean Holder kind of jogs her memory in that sense. She starts having these dreams. The more time she spends with him, she starts having these really scary dreams, and she doesn't know what they are, if they're real, if they're not. But in the end, she turns out to find out that they're real. They're actual real memories that she has, that she's kind of like blocked from her memory and everything. But it's a really good book. I definitely recommend it. So good. Something about these Collen Hoover books, once I start reading them, they're just, the way she writes, it gets you sucked right in. I cannot stop reading until I find out what happens. So I'm excited to get the next book, but I have it on hold at the library for Losing Hope, which is Dean Holder's point of view of the book, and I think it's going to tell about his point of view, which I'm very excited to see, because I'm hoping it's going to include more insight into his point of view, I guess, of things and what he went through, and about his sister, because he has a sister that kills herself. So it does have about suicide too. I just remember that. So a lot going on here, but I feel like Collen Hoover books are always like that. A lot going on. But it's definitely a 5-star read for me. All of her books tend to be 5-star reads for me, just because I consider, if it's a book that I cannot put down and I keep wanting to read it and read it and read it, then I know it's a 5-star read for me. That's what I consider a 5-star read for me. A book that I'm so sucked into that I cannot put it down, it's definitely going to be a 5-star read. So that moves me into what was next on my library TBR, which is the Agathas. And I'm still reading this right now. I started this on Sunday when we got back from my sister-in-law's house. And I'm about, that's my bookmark here, and that's how much I have left. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through the book. I have about 1/3 left to go. So this is a mystery novel called The Agathas, and it's called The Agathas because the girls read the Agatha Christie books, and I feel like this is maybe in the same vein as the Agatha Christie book because it's a whodunit. Somebody got murdered, and these girls in high school who read Agatha Christie books are trying to figure out who did it because it seems like the cops are covering it up, or maybe there's a dirty cop because there's a lot going on here. They say that they found they think it's the boyfriend who did it. The cops are trying to say it's just the boyfriend who did it. They're not really trying to look into anybody else who did it. And then there's just some stuff that they found out recently. The boy, her boyfriend, he blacks out. He wakes up in the woods. He has no idea what happened. And he wanders into, he has a test that day. So he wanders into a diner to get coffee and a donut and then just goes right to school because he has a test that morning he needs to take. So when they see him in school that morning, he looks a wreck. Pretty much. They say he looks dirty, his hair's all disheveled, there's scrapes on him, and he doesn't look good when he comes to school. So it makes everybody suspicious that he's the one that did it because they found out later on that day that it was his girlfriend she was missing, but then they eventually found the body. But they said that they arrested him because they found his shoe in the woods and some footprints around the area where they found the body. But when the girls that are investigating it, they go to the diner where he was that morning, and they said that he had both his shoes on when he went to that diner. So there's no way his shoe would have been in the woods. Apparently he left the shoe in the diner, and the person in charge of the diner told them that they gave the shoe to the police, and they wanted the security evidence so they could see for themselves about it, but they couldn't give them security footage because they also gave the security footage to the police. So it's making it look like there's a dirty cop, or maybe somebody's paying a cop to cover up who actually did it. But then there's also her father, who is a coach at the school, a football coach, I think, at the school. And turns out that the person who's dead, her name's Brooke, her mom was wealthy. And she died, and she left her, I think it was $8 million that she was going to get when she turned 18. And she was getting ready to turn 18 in like a few months before she died. And it turns out that if she died or so, they found, I hope this isn't giving away too much, but they found, it's not going to tell you who did it because I don't know who did it yet, but they found her will inside of the coach's house, her father's house. They're looking, because they think that it's the father did it, because he showed up to school the next day when she was missing. He hadn't told the police. He had told nobody. He wouldn't seem worried that she was missing. Nothing. It was one of the girls that called the grandma to let her know that her granddaughter's been missing. And so the grandma shows up, and I believe the grandma is like her mom's mom, and that's who it is. But she's all upset. And anyways, they find out that if Brooke died when they're searching through the house at her dad's stuff at the desk, they find out that if Brooke dies or something happens to her before her 18th birthday, then her father is supposed to get the $8 million. And then they also find out that he has credit cards. They find credit card bills, and he owes like $300,000 in credit card debt. They took his phone. They're kind of breaking the law here, trying to investigate this. But they took his phone, Turns out that he's been betting on horses, and he owes like $100,000 to people, and if he doesn't pay up, they're threatening him. So at this point, that's what I found out, and I feel like my money's on that it's the dad that did it. And I had thought at the beginning, well, it must be the dad, because he's acting like he's not even worried that she's missing. What kind of father would not be worried that she's missing? But then, of course, they do state in the beginning that they have gotten him and his daughter him and Brooke have gotten in fights, and she's been staying at friends' houses instead of staying at home. But still, she was supposed to be, I think, home with him then. He said that she never contacted him. That's one of the things too. He had said that she had never contacted him, and in the phone they see messages from Brooke reaching out to him, and he doesn't respond to any of them. So I'm excited to find out who did it, because my bunny right now is on the father that did it. But then it's like, is he the one that's, I don't think, is he the one that's paying the cops? Because the cops are definitely covering something up. So I don't know what's going on here, but it's definitely one of those slower books. It's a slower book. They're going through, finding out who did it. I am getting more interested in it now that it's near the end. They're finding out more things. So it is getting more interesting. This will probably be like a 3 or maybe a 4-star read for me, because it's taken me longer to get through it. Like I said, I started this Sunday, and it's now Wednesday. And I still have like a third of the book to go till I finish it. I am trying to read more today and see if I can, because it's a rainy day. It's supposed to rain pretty much all this week, which I love it. I feel like rainy days are the perfect days to just cozy up with a book and read. And, you know, I love it. But anyways, this is as far as I've gotten, is 2 books this week so far. So hopefully I can try and finish this book today so I can move on to what's next on my library TBR. And when you see me again, hopefully I'll be done this book. I'll update you when I get finished this book as to what I end up rating it, 3 or 4 stars. We'll see. I have to read the rest of it and find out how it ends and everything to know what I'm going to rate it. But it is definitely more like a mystery. Think Clue, where you're going through everything and they're trying to figure out who did it. It's not like a thriller where it's very fast-paced. I feel like this is a very slow-paced type of book. I think y'all would recommend it if you like that type of book. But, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have for my update. Now, I am going to be going to the library. I don't know if I'm going to go today or if I'm going to go tomorrow. Well, I might go tomorrow, because I would like to finish this book and be able to take it back too. So I think I might go tomorrow to the library, unless I finish this in a pretty good amount of time today and I can go later today. But we'll see. We'll see. Depends on depends on when I finish this, because I want to take this back to the library too, because I already have 2 books to return, and this would be a third, because I have a lot to pick up. I have a lot to pick up because there's a lot that came available off of hold for me at the library, but I have a couple of days before they start putting anything back on the shelf. So I'm going to go to the library either later today or tomorrow morning, probably, and return books and pick up what's more on my hold. So maybe this vlog will also include the books that I picked up, my library haul. So I hope you guys have enjoyed so far this one. I know it's been a little bit of a shorter one so far, but I will be back with my next update as soon as I finish the Agatha's book. Hi guys, so I'm back with my update on the Agathas. I finally finished the whole book. I did end up just giving it 3 stars because it's a mystery. It's not a thriller. So it is, I want to say, slow-paced. So I did find myself getting bored reading this book. It was a journey getting through this. It took me the whole time yesterday to read the last third of the book. And there was like maybe this much of it near the end where it was like thrilling. And I really got into it near the end. And I do like how it ended with Iris and Alice, they end up figuring out that through the whole process of them becoming Nancy Drew or Veronica Mars, because there is references to Veronica Mars and Nancy Drew in this book, that they kind of bonded over the whole mystery and finding out who did it, who killed Alice's friend Brooke. So I do like that they form this bond and friendship in the end, because they do portray Alice as being somebody who feels lonely. Even though she had friends, she didn't have those type of friends that she could just rely on, I guess. And her parents were never around, so she was kind of always by herself in the house with their housekeeper or whatever. So I did like that in the end they form like this friendship or bond. And I do know that there is a second book out. It came out in May of this year. I don't know if my library has it or not, but I don't know if I'm going to read the second book. I might look and see. Go online on my library's website, look and see and read the synopsis on it. And if it sounds good, I might try to read the second one. But I don't know. This one felt kind of long to me. Even though the writing is actually pretty big in the book, it felt long. But I would consider this kind of like a beachy read, because it does take place in Crystal Cove. Here, it shows like a little map at the beginning of the town. It's like a little beachy town. It's called Castle Cove. Here's like the little map of Castle Cove, and there's like a beach. So it's like a little beachy town with some woody area. But I really did enjoy it. I love the characters. I just thought it was a little long. And there were some parts where it drug along for me. So I don't know. It's a book where I would have to take many breaks with it and then go back to reading it some. So just don't know about it. I don't know if I would pick up the second one. I'd probably, like I said, I'll read the synopsis and see if it sounds interesting enough to me. But there was like a little twist at the end where you thought the person who did it was the person who did it. They'd already captured the person, put him in jail, had press releases and in the news and everything that they captured their guy, but then it turned out to be somebody else at the end. So it was pretty good. 3 stars, solid 3 stars for me. But yep, I just thought I would update you guys on that, because I'm getting ready to leave now. I'm gonna go to Walmart. I like to go early in the morning when it's more empty, because the store's more filled if you go early in the morning. And then after Walmart, I'm heading to the library. Our library opens at 9:30, and it's 8:30 almost right now. So I figure by the time I do Walmart and then head to my library, it should be open. So I'm going to take back the 3 books that I've read so far and pick up a lot of books that came on hold. I will come back and show you. Maybe I might end up doing it in a separate video, because it is a lot of books. And if I want to read the synopsis on the back of the books, it's going to make this long like my last video. So I might just keep this one to the books, and I might do a separate video and try and see how that goes of my library haul this week and which books I picked up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little update. I did start reading. I should have brought it here. The K.A. Tucker. I forgot to bring it here. I did start reading my next book in my library TBR, which was the Say You. I can't remember now. Say You Always Love Me. Something like that. Something like that. I can't. Say You Still Love Me, or it's something like that. It's a romance, but it's like one of those where it skips from the present and the past. So I've almost finished the first chapter. And I can already tell you that I'm really liking the book so far. So I think I'm going to like this one. It is smaller words, so it's probably going to be a little bit longer book to get through than this last one, but I am really liking it so far. But I cannot wait to come back and give y'all the update on that book, because I feel like I'm really going to like it. And I've only read the first chapter, so it's always a good sign. Okay, I guess I'll see you guys when I finish that book. So I'm back to finish my reading vlog. I just finished this Say You Still Love Me book by K.A. Tucker. I almost stayed up late last night finishing reading this, but I decided to go to bed and just finish it in the morning. I had like maybe a chapter left in the epilogue, so it was just like a very tiny bit this morning that I had to finish. But this book, 5 stars. I can already tell you right now, this gets 5 stars for me. It makes me want to read the book that people love by her, The Wilder, even more. Because not many people really like this, but I think some people just don't like second chance romances. Whereas I really like second chance romances. But this book got to me because it just brought back the nostalgia of summer camp. So it starts out with it's like a then and now timeline, and it starts out with the now with Piper Calloway. She's working at her father's real estate firm. They build like condos and stuff like that. She's vice president there at the multi-billion-dollar real estate development firm, and she's the vice president there, preparing to take over for her father when he retires and leaves the business to her to run. So that's where it starts out at when you open up the book. And then when it goes to the then, which is like every other chapter, you have a now and then you have a then, and then it's a now and then a then, like that. When you go to the then, it's her, the first then they have, it's her going to summer camp at Camp Wawa. Her mom is dropping her off. She's going to be a camp counselor. She's 17. Her mom drops her off there because she says that she's never had to work in her life because they're rich, so she doesn't really need to work, but her mom thinks she needs the experience, the work experience there, and knowing the feeling of having to work. So she drops her off at camp. It's her first year as a camp counselor. As soon as she gets to camp, right away she's drawn to this guy that pulls up in this beat up car. His name is Kyle, and he has like a lip ring. So immediately she's attracted to him right away, and she asks the other girls about him. She ends up talking to this girl, I believe her name's Kelly, and the cabin that she ends up with another girl named Krista, who's kind of like the one that follows the rules and tattles on everybody who doesn't follow the rules. And then it's just about their group of friends that they formed. It's Kyle and Eric are friends. His friend Eric, and then it's Kelly and Piper and Krista at camp. They're kind of all formed a friendship together throughout their camp stay, and then is pretty much about them and working as counselors, and then them enjoying like the weekends, because the weekends is the only weekends where they have off. There's no kids there, so they really get to enjoy Saturdays before the kids come back the next week. So they have new kids each week as a camp counselor. So this pretty much tells the story of them, what happens, something when they're working at the camp, of course. But I don't want to give too much away that happens because I love this. And I think a lot of people, maybe the people that don't like this, never went to summer camp as a kid, because I love this book. It kind of reminds me of I love the writing. It kind of reminds me of Collen Hoover's writing. It really grabbed me at the beginning of the book and made it a super easy read for me because I got sucked in from the very beginning. I'm definitely going to read The Wilder after this. But I can see if you maybe didn't go to summer camp and stuff, maybe this wouldn't resonate with you, but this was like nostalgia. Every time they went back to summer camp, it brought me back to when I went to summer camp when I was a kid, and I was never the counselor, but I don't think I ever could be a camp counselor, but I went to summer camp, and I remember you always leave at the end of summer camp with new friends saying that you're going to keep in touch, and it never happens. You never keep in touch. But you always hope to meet them again next year when you go to camp. I definitely give this 5 stars. Like I said, it's like a Collen Hoover book. It was super easy to read, sucked me in at the beginning. It's a then and now type of book, and it is a second chance romance, which I loved. And at the end, I was bawling reading this, finding out some things that happened. But I would definitely recommend this book if you like second chance romances, because I really loved it. This is going to be one of my favorite books of the year. I can already tell. I'm already making like a list of my favorite books of the year, so I can do, and at the end of the year or in January next year, I can have that list of what my favorite books were of the year. So anyways, I'm still in my pajamas. I just wanted to come in here and update you guys because I just finished that book and I needed to let y'all know how good it was. I was even crying. My husband was leaving for work and he was like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "Yeah, I got to, it's part of my book that made me cry." So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog this week. I know it's a little bit shorter. I only read 3 books. That's mainly because of the Veronicas. That one took me a while to read. Probably would have been more books if I read more books like this or Collen Hoover. But look forward to next week, because next week I am going to be starting out with a Collen Hoover book. Too Late is the one I'm moving on to now, which I was reading the beginning of it and seeing that it's supposedly not like any of her other books, that she wrote this when she was having writer's block and had it free online for people to read, which I had no idea. And then she ends up making it into a book because everybody begged her to make it to a book because they wanted to be able to read it in book form. My sunburn is itching. So I'm excited to start the Collen Hoover book today. I don't know if I'm going to get to post this vlog today. I might end up posting this on, editing it and posting it on Sunday instead, but we'll see. Because we're going to the movies later to see Flash. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to edit this and post it. But if I do, I will. If not, you're going to be seeing this on a Sunday. And happy Sunday if you are. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up down below. And if you're not yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to my channel. And next to the subscribe button is the bell. You can ring that to be notified of all my future uploads. And I hope you guys are having a great day, night, weekend, whenever it is you're watching this. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.